Sometimes the darkest beginnings give birth to the strongest destinies. This is the story of a little girl, an orphan, unwanted, and forgotten by the very people who were meant to protect her. She was only 6 years old when her stepmother took her to the edge of the street and walked away, leaving her behind with nothing but a small cloth bag and a broken heart. No goodbye, no mercy. That night, the world felt cold and endless. Cars passed, people looked away, and the city swallowed her silence. Hungry, frightened, and alone, she learned her first lesson early, that survival does not come from kindness, but from courage. As days turned into nights, the little girl watched other children held in loving arms, while she slept under flickering streetlights, teaching herself how to be strong when no one came to save her. But even in her tears, something powerful was born, a quiet fire, a will that refused to break. She did not know it yet, but this abandoned orphan girl was taking her first steps toward a destiny that would one day make her a legendary empire builder. And this was only the beginning. By the time she turned 8, the streets had become her classroom. Every morning, she woke before the city did, her small hands already working for a chance at food, carrying water, cleaning shop floors, running small errands, anything that would earn a few coins or a leftover meal. She learned where to stand so people would notice her, and where not to stand so trouble would pass her by. Hunger taught her patience. Cold nights taught her endurance. Sometimes she shared her food with other homeless children, because even with nothing, she understood the power of kindness. Together, they formed a silent family, bound not by blood, but by survival. She watched the world closely, the way shop owners spoke, the way money changed hands, the way power moved without words. At night, under dim streetlights, she promised herself that this life would not define her. The streets were shaping her, but they would never own her. Inside that 8-year-old orphan girl, strength was no longer sleeping. It was growing. At 12 years old, something inside her began to change. She was no longer just surviving. She was watching, listening, and learning. While others rushed through their days, she stayed close to the elders of the neighborhood. She helped them carry bags, clean their spaces, and in return, she received something far more valuable than money: wisdom. They spoke of mistakes, lost chances, and hard-earned lessons. She listened carefully, storing every word in her heart. She learned that knowledge did not only live in books, but in lived experience. At night, she found old, discarded books and read them by faint light. Every page opened a new world. Every story showed her a future beyond the streets. For the first time, she allowed herself to dream, not of escape, but of purpose. That 12-year-old orphan girl did not yet have power, but she had vision. And once vision is awakened, nothing can stop what comes near. By the time she turned 16, reality tested her dreams. Armed with hope and determination, she searched for honest work, believing effort would finally open a door. But doors closed faster than they opened. Some saw her age, others saw her past. Few saw her potential. She faced rejection after rejection, each one heavier than the last. Long days ended with tired feet, empty hands, and questions that haunted her nights. For a moment, doubt crept in. Was she dreaming too big? Was the world simply not made for girls like her? But failure became her teacher. She learned that success is not given. It is taken through persistence. She learned to stand taller after every no, to grow stronger after every setback. That 16-year-old orphan girl did not break. She adapted, because deep inside, she knew this failure was not an ending. It was preparation. At 20, she carried the weight of her past but refused to be defined by it. Orphaned young, she had learned early that life demanded both grit and strategy. Now, she moved through the bustling world of business with focused determination, absorbing every lesson she could. She watched leaders closely, noting not just their decisions but their poise, the way they inspired teams, and how they turned obstacles into opportunities. Networking events became her classrooms, and every handshake, conversation, and question was a building block for her future. Her notebooks were filled with ideas, plans, and strategies, evidence of a mind both hungry and disciplined. Confidence was no longer something she wished for. It was a skill she cultivated daily. Though the road ahead was uncertain, she approached it with ambition, curiosity, and courage. The young woman wasn't just learning business, she was learning power. The power to shape her destiny and rise above circumstance. At 25, Maya finally saw the fruits of her relentless effort. Her small business, born from countless late nights and endless planning, had made its first profits. Standing in her modest yet vibrant office, she felt a surge of pride. This was more than money. It was proof that her vision mattered. Her team gathered around, sharing smiles and quiet laughter, each member reflecting the respect and confidence she had earned. As she spoke, her voice steady and warm, she realized how far she had come from uncertainty and doubt to leadership and recognition. For Maya, success wasn't just about numbers. It was about being a young African-American woman taking her place at the table, inspiring others through example, and embracing the strength she had cultivated in herself. Today, she celebrated not just profits, but possibility, the beginning of a journey that was fully, unmistakably hers. At 30, Maya faced one of the hardest moments of her career. A trusted partner had turned against her, threatening not only the business she built but the trust she had worked so hard to cultivate. The news hit like a storm, but Maya did not falter. In the boardroom, she stood tall, her presence commanding respect. Her team looked to her for guidance, and she delivered with clarity, calm, and unwavering resolve. This was leadership tested, painful, yes, but necessary. Instead of retreating, Maya used the betrayal as fuel. She made tough decisions, rebuilt fractured alliances, and strengthened her company's foundation. Every challenge became a lesson, every setback a stepping stone. By the end of the year, Maya had not only restored what was lost but emerged stronger, wiser, and more powerful. She was a CEO who commanded attention, earned respect, and proved that resilience could turn betrayal into growth. At 35, Maya's vision had grown beyond imagination. Her small business had expanded into multiple ventures, each thriving under her strategic leadership. From her office overlooking the city skyline, she orchestrated deals, guided teams, and made decisions that shaped industries. Media outlets called her an empire builder, a force to be reckoned with, and Maya embraced it with quiet confidence. Every success was earned through sharp strategy, calculated risks, and the wisdom gained from past trials. Despite the pressure, she remained graceful, connecting personally with her leaders and mentoring rising talent. Her presence commanded attention in boardrooms and conferences alike, a blend of dominance and poise that inspired respect. As Maya stood atop her empire, she realized that growth wasn't just financial, it was influence, impact, and the ability to create opportunities for others. Her legacy was no longer a dream. It was unfolding, brick by brick, under her careful, unyielding guidance. At 40, Maya's name carried weight across continents. She stood on grand stages delivering speeches that inspired young girls to dream bigger than they ever imagined. Her empire was vast, but her influence extended beyond business. It was cultural, educational, and deeply personal. As a mentor, she nurtured talent, offered guidance, and shared the hard-earned wisdom that came from 30 years of relentless work. The respect she commanded was global, earned not only through success but through integrity, resilience, and the courage to break barriers. Photographers and journalists captured her image as an icon, poised, confident, legendary. But Maya measured success not by headlines but by lives touched, opportunities created, and the legacy she was building. Her aura was unmistakable, a combination of strength, elegance, and the knowledge that she had become a symbol of possibility for generations of African American women and girls. At 45, Maya returned to the streets of her childhood, walking past the homes and corners that shaped her dreams. There was a calm in her stride, a quiet fulfillment in seeing how far she had come. Her empire continued to flourish, but her focus had shifted to giving back, helping orphans, funding schools, and mentoring the next generation. The same strength and wisdom that built businesses now built hope. As she spoke with children and leaders alike, Maya embodied peace and victory. Her journey had come full circle, from a young woman chasing opportunity to a legendary figure shaping futures. In her final portrait at 45, she radiated power, grace, and triumph. Maya had not only achieved success, she had created a legacy, one that would endure far beyond her own story.